They get all of the hand-holding all the way up to the funding point, and then the CEO disappears. They try calling, following up, getting some sort of a thing, and they feel like got bamboozled into making an investment. Even if the investment works out, it doesn't feel good. And there's a lot of follow-up and anxiety that's happening, part because it's taxes, and so that in and of itself causes anxiety. And then you hear all the stories.
I personally know high net worth individuals who have made it almost a personal policy to not invest in private vehicles because they don't want to deal with the K1s and they don't want to deal with the waiting and the perception that investing in a private vehicle automatically means that you're going to have to file an extension at tax time and wait for that document and hope that it comes.
I remember at my previous company, we didn't have all these systems in place. Like I said, it was, I believe it was $1 million minimum. And we only had a couple dozen investors, big institutions on top of that.
Yep.
And the systems that we had in place were basically our C-suite at the company.
Yeah.
And then me running point on everything as we were at least getting everything off of the ground. And we were very hands-on. So we never had those types of issues or complaints. And I never knew another way of doing it. It would never cross my mind to just take the investment and then never respond to someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know it does happen.
It does. I think we're both on a crusade to make sure it doesn't happen.
I heard from one of the investors that I met at a networking event, they get all of the hand-holding all the way up to the funding point, and then the CEO disappears. And they try calling, following up, getting some sort of a thing, and they feel like they just got bamboozled into making an investment. Even if the investment works out, it doesn't feel good. And that's definitely not what we're trying to do.
That's right.
And I think that leads really to the next big complaint that I hear from investors out in the marketplace is about K1s. That's really the thing that I hear the most about, that seems like it's the simplest thing.
Yeah.
And always seems to be a struggle for accounting teams and investors to receive it on time. And there's a lot of follow-up and anxiety that's happening. I think it's in part because it's taxes, right? And so that in and of itself causes anxiety. And then you hear all the stories. From your side of things, how do you think about the systems that are in place, what the failure points are?
Yeah.
How do we avoid them?
The first thing I would say here is that I personally know high net worth individuals who have made it almost a personal policy to not invest in private vehicles because they don't want to deal with the K1s and they don't want to deal with the waiting and the perception that investing in a private vehicle automatically means that you're going to have to file an extension at tax time and wait for that document and hope that it comes sometime later. And so I think that's a real sort of fear, and not just among first-time private investors. I think that's a fear of folks who are fairly seasoned too.
That have been burned.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think that for every fund manager, one of the most important things you can do is to say, we have a plan for that, or we have a team for that. And I know in your case, you have both. So the platform that we've stood up, the Investor platform, is equipped to help with the production of K1s, and they will. And I know you guys retain good tax advisors as well on the side. I think this is one place where we have strong answers and responses to those concerns. And then from our side, knowing that we will maintain the capital accounting, the investor accounting within the platform, that allows us to work with the K1 preparers to make sure that they're getting the information flow that they need to produce those on time.
I think another big piece where things get dropped is having too many layers to it. Yeah. And I think this is one of the benefits of the structure that we've set up, is being both the developer and fund manager gives us the ability to work through the process more quickly without waiting for a handoff from lower level property managers or anything like that. So we're actively involved in the production of the expenses and utilization of the investments, and have all of the information that we can pass on in a timely fashion, and of course having that process in place to make sure that things are delivered on time. I think that's one of the main failure points, is not getting the information to the accountants until March 14th, and then wondering why the accountant didn't get the K-1 done.
That's right.
Because there were dozens of other people that probably emailed their stuff on March 14th, and you don't want to be in a pile that you can't get out of.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I think, to your credit, what you're doing is you're building this ecosystem where you've got the fund, and in addition, you've got the development business, and you've got a cast of supporting roles between the two. And I think what you're saying is right. You've got the ability to run the accounting at the project level. The people in the systems are set up to run the accounting at the fund level. And I'm talking about both general ledger accounting, but also capital or investor accounting. And so I think the key distinction here is that when it comes time for tax season, for tax reporting, you and I and our team, we both know who to go to. For some of it, it's us. For some of it, it's on the development side. For some of it, it's being handled by the platform itself. But those roles and responsibilities are clearly delineated and defined, and there's no gray area when it comes to where the information sits.
Someone is always responsible for their piece of the puzzle.
That's right.